We will now begin the Bentley Power Civil Water Sewer training. Be good to turn to page 5 of our manual, as I've shown here. Bentley Power Civil Water Sewer is a program to assist in the design of water and sewer systems. As you can read and see, it can contain many different water and sewer lines or runs. So you're not limited to the amount of lines or that you can put in, or the amount of nodes or junctions that you can place. You can also access through the Power Civil Water Sewer tools and the program and the project. You can access other information like the drainage design, and you can access the surface modeling or surface design. These would be designed and done with the Power Civil drainage program or the Power Civil site modeler program. So each project can access its necessary terrain information for vertical design, as well as drainage information for conflicts and checking of conflicts. Let's discuss some of the main components of Power Civil Water Sewer. And that would be the project files that we're dealing with. Water Sewer has one major project file, and that would be the GWS file. That GWS file is where all the components of a water sewer system would be stored: the lines, the nodes, the profiles for both water and sewer. Graphically, that information will be stored in a Power Civil CAD file. That could be a DWG file or a DGN file. Furthermore, each project has specific preferences. For example, minimum slope for sewer lines would be stored as a preference in the Power Civil project. What terrain model would I like to use to design off of? That would be stored in a project preference. How do I label the sewer lines and the sewer nodes in the project? That would be a project preference. So we'll review the project preferences once we get to them, but those preferences can be saved in an extension called WSP and recalled from project to project to project. The CAD file is usually where all the layout of the water and sewer lines has taken place. So a user would simply lay them out in the CAD file and then open up water sewer and assign the necessary information to those specific elements. Draw a line that would be an 8-inch water, draw another line that might be a 12-inch sewer, and so forth and so on. One of the biggest things that is often overlooked but is a focus of Power Civil Water Sewer is quantities. And at the end of the day, once we're done with our design, we can easily get quantities of how much linear feet of water lines we have, sewer lines, how many nodes we have, and so forth, as well as how much trench volume we'll have to do as well. So we're going to step through creating a water sewer project, and you can see we've got a 3-step process there on page 6. We're going to open up our main CAD file called baseplan DGN. We're going to start the Power Civil Water Sewer application, and then we're going to create a new project. Okay. And we've created a note in the manual just to kind of let you know that each time you open up water sewer, you either need to create a new project or open an existing project. Otherwise, as it says, you'll be working in an untitled project. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to launch Power Civil from my desktop. I'll be working with the 2006 edition of Power Civil. And I'm going to go ahead and navigate through the manager to my appropriate project folder. In this case, C Data Geo Site Water Sewer. In that folder we have one CAD file. I can filter for other types of files, but in this case we only have the one CAD file, and it's a V8 version of a DGN file. At this point, and we can see a preview of the file, at this point I'm going to click OK and open up that CAD file. Here I'm going to fit all my graphics to view, and we'll take a look at the data inside this file. So as far as the CAD data, it's just simple lines here. We have water lines in blue and sewer lines in red. Now, to get an idea of why they're laid out in a certain way, they actually have a reference file attached that shows you the layout of the subdivision that we're designing the sewer and water for. So that's why the water lines were running and the sewer lines were running in a certain way. Furthermore, I also have referenced the drainage for this particular system, or this particular site plan. And you can see I have a very simple drainage design done as well. So if need be, I can check for conflicts at some point. I'll go ahead and turn those off for now. And Power Civil, all the necessary tools, and we're going to mainly be focused on the water sewer module here. So I'm going to go ahead and, as it said in the manual in step 2, I'm going to launch the Power Civil water sewer application. And as I noted earlier, when you launch the application, you're automatically placed within a project file, and that project file in this case is called Untitled, and across the blue bar at the top of the view window you can see water sewer : Untitled. So that's why we made a note that you need to either create a new project when you open up water sewer, or open an existing project that you may have already created and been working on. We also add water sewer pull down menu to the main Power Civil menu, and I can access any of the water sewer tools from there. So in this case I want to access the project tools, and I want to create a new project. So water sewer project new. I want to place the project in my water sewer folder, and I want to give it a name. The name can be whatever you want. In my case I want to call it base plan, so I'm going to name it the same as the design file that I'm working in. The extension is automatic. It'll have a GWS extension. So I key in the name, I click OK, and I am now in the water sewer project. So it's created that file, and I'm now working in that project. So that's a simple way to create a water sewer project. The next step is for us to kind of take a look at preferences. Each project has preferences, and as you can see here, preferences could be where is the terrain model that I want to design off of, where is my drainage project information. So the preferences simply point us to where that information is. The program then takes that information and uses it within the design. And each project can have its own preferences, and their preferences are carried with the project. They can be saved off. As you can see, we can save off the preferences and use them for a future project, but we don't really have to if we don't want to. So we're going to go through our exercise of setting the project preferences, and we're going to start in the bottom of page 1-2. So under water sewer, back into the program, under the water sewer pull down menu, under project I have preferences. I'm going to open up the preferences And right now they're labeled untitled, and I could go through and start setting up my preferences. Project components, where my drainage project is, cell library, where my cell library is, terrain, where is my surface information located? Is it in a site project that's already been designed, or is it simply just a terrain model or a TIM file? How do I want to name the information that I'm storing in this water sewer project file? How do I want to draw manholes? Some basic design parameters for sewer lines. Profile information, very simple here, just naming convention. Loading information, so when I do my sewer design, we can take into account loads and calculate capacities, and then project saving options. Now, in our case, we have a preference file that's going to populate all this information that we've created previously. So we'll open up that preference file, and this is mainly just to demonstrate the use of the water sewer preferences file. So I'll go File, Open, and if you remember, we talked about having a standards folder, and that file is located in our standards folder. See Data Geo Site, so I'll double click on Site, scroll down, find my standards folder, double click on standards, and there is my water sewer preference file, which will have all the necessary information to populate all those options. So I open up that file, and now I can see that those options have been populated. So what are these options? Well, we'll go over those in detail in a minute.